Hello, everyone. We're back at it. This is Tamisha, and I am here to do page 1 from this Momentric study guide on math knowledge. It has 7 problems, so we're going to go ahead and cut to the chase. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share as you wish. Be able to provide someone else with the help that they may need to get the scores that they need, to get the jobs that they need, just like you will. All right, so let's start with number 1. It says a rectangle has a width of 7 centimeters and a length of 9 centimeters. Now, when you take this test, you may not have time to be drawing this out and thinking about it and everything like that. So you really want to make sure that you've practiced problems like these enough times to where you can visualize it in your head when you're taking a test, because that'll help it to go a little bit faster. But if you need to draw a sketch of something real quick, to just kind of see it, then do it. It may take away a few seconds from another problem, so you really want to make sure that you're practicing every day. All right, so it says, what is the perimeter? Well, perimeter is just the outside of an object, the length of it, okay? So it's just like, if this was a track, and you were walking it and you wanted to know what was the distance that you walked, that's the perimeter. All the stuff that's in the center would be the area. Any of this stuff inside of here, that would be the area. All right, so to find the perimeter, and we're walking it, so just think about you adding up your steps, your Fitbit adding up your steps or whatever. So it's 7 along here, and the key thing you want to know about a quadrilateral is that the opposite sides are equal in length. So let me see if I can get that same color back. So this is 7 centimeters, and this one is 9 centimeters up here. So that's 7 times 2, which is 14, and 9 times 2, which is 18, or you could have said 7 plus 7 plus 9 plus 9, which would have been still 14 and 18, which would make 32. Same thing over here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 1, and 1, 32. And we see that that's answer choice B. Okay? Now, don't be trying to multiply 7 times 9, because that's the formula for the area. If you do 7 times 9, that's going to end up giving you 63, and that's not the answer. Okay. I don't know why that's doing that. Okay, so number 2 says, in the following inequality, which this thing right here is called an inequality, you can have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Those are all called inequalities. And I like to draw little heads on them and turn them into Pac-Mans, because Pac-Man will like to face the biggest number and eat it. Okay. So it says, in the following inequality, solve for Q. So we have negative 3Q plus 12 is greater than or equal to 4Q minus 30. Now, some of these problems have a, prerequisite knowledge is required in order for you to be able to understand them and be able to do them. And I just let you know that I do offer online tutoring, one-on-one, and I also do group as like a webinar. So if you're interested in either of those, put a little comment in or send me a message and let me know. So the first thing we're going to do is get all your variable terms on one side and then your constant terms on the other. And the variable terms are the ones that have the letters. And all of these are positive. All of these right here are positive. So we want to move the smallest one to where the largest is by doing the opposite of what it is. So we have a -3 here and we have a 4 here. We're going to add the -3, add the 3 onto both sides in order to move it. And that's 3 Q's. You can think about it as like 3/4 or something. So these will cancel each other out because they're opposite, same thing, opposite signs. Just bringing that 12 down, bringing my inequality down. So it says 12 is greater than or equal to all this other stuff over here. So 4/4 plus 3/4 is 7/4. And then there's -30. Remember, all this stuff is from the last problem. So now we have to get the constant terms on the same side. Now we're not going to bring the 12 over to the right side because then we're not setting ourselves up to solve for Q. There won't be anything on the left side and that's not going to help us. So we're going to add 30 to both sides. Boom, boom, same number, opposite signs, they cancel each other out. So on the right side is 7/4. Put our inequality symbol, and 30 plus 12 is 42. Now ask yourself, what's 42 divided by 7? Or you can say 7 times what makes 42. And you don't have to start thinking about a whole bunch of numbers and everything like that, because remember, this is multiple choice. There's nothing but 6's there. So the answer is 6. So Q, our inequality symbol, and a 6. So when we look over there, we say, well, wait a minute, that Q is on the left side. But when I did my problem, I brought my Q's to the right side. So what do? Well, this says this Pac-Man is facing the 6. So that means Q is going to be smaller than the 6. So it says Q is less than or equal to 6. Now let's look at these answer choices, see what we can rule out. So we have less than or equal to. Q is less than or equal to. Well, this one just is equal, so that's out of the question. This one says not equal, that's out of the question. So then this says Q, A says Q is greater than, because Pac-Man is facing the Q, but this one says Q is less than, and that's what we need. So the answer choice for that one is D. Let's see if there's a clear button because this eraser takes too much time. Okay, number 3 says x minus 6 equals 0. Well, come on now, you guys. What minus 6 equals 0? Anything minus itself is 0. So what's the answer choice? What is the answer from the answer choices? Tell me. I can't hear you. All right, you better get it right. If you said C, ding, ding, ding. My students like when I say ding, ding, ding. They be like, I got it right, but you forgot to say ding, ding, ding. So this one says, if x equals -3, calculate the following expression. All right. Well, we got some exponents and some parentheses. So you kind of got to remember like order of operations because you got to do what's in those parentheses first. So order of operation is PMDAS. I hope you remember what that is. That's your parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And you have to, and you can always push pause and rewind if if I move too fast or something. But just remember that multiplication and division, when they show up on the same line of operations, you do them in order from left to right. And it's the same way with adding and subtracting. So if it happens here, we'll see it play out. So if x is equal to -3, that just means everywhere there's x, we got to substitute in a -3. So I'm going to write this expression here, but I'm substituting the values in. So I'm putting the -3 in parentheses, and that's raised to the third power, plus parenthesis 3, -3 plus 4, close that up, minus 2, substitute in the -3, and raise it to the second power. Now, if you have a number smashed up next to a parenthesis, then that just simply means that you need to multiply. And then, of course, if something is raised to an exponent, that means you do it times itself that many times. So that's going to be like -3 times -3 times -3, okay? So when you do two -3s, that's -3 times -3. Negative times a negative is positive, so that's 9 times that -3 makes a -27, okay? And when we did this first one, that's going to apply for this one too. All right, so it's going to now be 3 times -27 plus parenthesis. 3 times a -3 is -9 plus 4 minus 2. And then in the parentheses, the -3 times the -3 right here, boom, is 9. All right, so now we got to do -27 times 3. So you can do -27 plus -27 plus -27, or you can just use your multiplication. -27 times 3. That's 21. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 is 81. So it's -81 here. Plus -9 plus 4 is a -5 there. And put our minus symbol, and then this 2 times 9 is 18. Alright, so the only operations we have are negatives and positives. So we can go just straight left to right. So we got a -81 plus a -5 plus a -18. So they're all negative. They're going to continue to be negative because it's not multiplication. So 81 and 5 is 86. 86 and 18 is 14, and that's what -104. So that's answer choice A. Got it? Okay, hope so. You can always rewind it if you need to. I'm just going to keep the answers on there, but everything else I'm going to erase. So the next one says, if 3x minus 30 equals 45 minus 2x. Well, it's the same thing. It just wants to know what is the value of x. They're not giving us x and telling us to substitute it in. They're just asking us. But if you wanted to do like a guess and check, I mean, it's going to take a minute because there's 4 answer choices, but you could technically take each one of those numbers and substitute it in for x, and if the left side of the equation equals the right side of the equation, that's your answer. So, but we're going to just go ahead and work it out. So that's 3x minus 30 equals 45 minus 2x. Okay. So remember what I said about bringing all the variable terms together and all the constant terms together by doing the opposite of what it is. So that was a minus 2x. So I'm going to do a plus 2x, but I do the plus 2x over here to the x's because you ain't add and subtract apples and oranges. So I can't put that 2x under the 30 and say that that's -28, because that's like having $30 and then the x's be apples, and like somehow you cannot put those together. So don't try it. Alright, so 3x and 2x's is 5x's. I'm going to go ahead and move this 2 at the same time because it's too early in the morning. Is it still morning? It's still morning. And I'm already tired. I think it's because of this rain. Is it raining where you are? I'm sick of it. Alright, so I'm adding 30. So that's 75. And so 5 times what makes 75? How many $5 bills do you need to have in order to have $75? Well, when you're taking that test, don't be skip counting by 5 because that's going to take forever. You either look at those answer choices and see which one makes sense and test it, or you just do your little short division. 5 goes into 7 one time. That rules out answer choice A, and that rules answer choice D. And we know that in order for something to be multiplied by 10, it's going to be the same number with a 0 at the end. So we know our answer choice is C. But we can keep going. So that made one time with 2 left over. And 5 goes into 25 5 times. So that confirms our answer. Y'all good with that? All right, next one says solve for x in the following inequality. Remember, inequality has the Pac-Man? So we're going to do Alright, so we only have one variable term here. So we're just going to move the constant. Move it. So that's 1/4 x is greater than or equal to 100. Alright, so you say, I haven't done these with fractions. We did them with whole numbers. So what do I do with this? Well, you can multiply by the inverse. Multiply by the inverse. Because top and bottom, if they're the same, they cancel out. Boom, boom. So x is greater than or equal to 100 times 4 is 400. With a 1 in the bottom, it's still 400. And you can look at your answer choices and you can see that. But don't just grab any one of those 400. It has to be where Pac-Man is eating the x. That's answer choice A. Now, if this fraction happened to be a negative number and you had to multiply or divide by a negative number, it's going to make your inequality flip around. It's kind of like when you take those magnets and you try to put them together with the posts being the same, positive, it's going to flip around. All right, number 7. X squared minus 5 equals 20. Now, what did I tell you in the last one about when you only had one variable term? That's right. Move the constant. All right. Let that variable term stay on this side. That's x squared is equal to 25. Now you'd be like, how am I supposed to do this? I don't have a calculator. How do I do this without a calculator? Easy. You ask yourself, because remember, if you squaring something, that same thing as saying you multiplying a thing by itself this number of times. So what times itself is going to make 25? 5. And that's it. Alright, guys. Remember, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. And when they come through to me, I, of course, will respond to them, answer your questions. If you're on the live, of course, you can chat, and I'll answer the questions as we go along with the videos. So I'll see you on the next page on another day.